let me start with this 3-batter rule for relief pitchers because I don't feel that bad that I didn't know about it because Joe Madden and let's see, who else? A couple other, Joe Girardi didn't even know about this. Did you know about this?
Well, they've been talking about it, and actually almost a year ago when MLB wanted to do this, the union did not sign off on it, but they said, okay, we will agree not to challenge this if you want to implement the rule. So that's where we are now. They're going to implement the rule in 2020. I got to be honest with you, Dan. There's no two ways about this. I hate this rule. I think baseball is going to a very dangerous place where you are now telling a manager there are artificial governors on how you can run a game. In other words, the best moves that you can make, the best to win the game now, sometimes your hands would be tied. And the example that I use is last year, Game 7 of the World Series. A.J. Hinch brought Will Harris out there. They were up by 1. Kendrick hits the home run. Cabrera hits a hanging curveball for a single. Harris is absolutely gassed. It's Game 7 of the World Series. The manager can't take him out of the game because of a stupid rule that says you have to stay in. Can you imagine the NFL, somebody telling Bill Belichick a sub goes in the game and he's got to stay in for 3 plays? That makes no sense.
What kind of loopholes do managers have? Because I'm wondering if you just say, if I'm a pitcher and if I get roughed up in my first 2 batters or my manager only wants me to stay in for 2 batters, then I just give a signal and like my shoulder's starting to hurt a little bit here. Like, how are we going to get around it? Because it feels like there is a loophole or two.
Yeah, I mean, managers and baseball people, they'll find a way if it's there. I mean, if a guy complains that he's got a stomach ache or a cramp or something that's not going to turn up on an MRI where you need proof, how are you going to say the guy was faking it? That is a loophole. I don't know how often guys would try it. But here's the thing. You were throwing some numbers out there, Dan. This rule is not worth the cost of messing with the strategy of the game. I figured out that if it were in place in 2019, it would affect 1 game every 3 or 4 games in the course of a year, about 700 to 800 pitching appearances of 1 or 2 batters that do not finish a half inning. You know what that works out to, the average, how much time you're saving in the average game? 44 seconds. You are changing the ways a manager can run a game for the sake of 44 seconds. Nobody will notice that. Nobody.
Okay, but why did they implement this?
These moves actually, because in 2015 when things were really getting crazy with pitching moves, the lefty come in and the righty came in. That seemed to get out of hand, and people just, as baseball people like to do, complaining about it and started extrapolating it out. Well, what's going to happen next? We're going to have 27 pitchers for 27 outs. But actually, in the last 4 years, it's gone down by 20%. It's not nearly the issue that it was back 4 years ago. So it's a solution in search of a problem. Listen, the biggest problem in baseball is the time in between pitches. While these pitching changes have been going down in terms of the short ones, time of game has been going up because they've added between 2 and 3 seconds per pitch. That's 15 to 20 minutes of absolutely nothingness in the course of a game. That's what they have to address.
Do you think there'll be any modifications before the start of next season to this rule?
Well, I think it's such a stupid rule. I thought all along that push comes to shove, we get to opening day, and they said, okay, we won't go ahead and implement it. I mean, Dan, you got to find me a manager who, A, knows about the rule, as you just alluded to, and B, actually likes the rule. What manager would like a rule that tells him how he can deploy his personnel to win a baseball game? I can't even think of a rule where baseball went out of their way to put a handcuff on a manager for the sake of 1 pitching change every 3 or 4 games.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.